What's up, guys? It's me, Lumos Theromax, here to bring you another absolute banger, and this time we are covering the Phantom Lantern Ring, or the Phantom Lantern in general. And when it comes to lantern lore, this guy's a little bit on the obscure side, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, because the powers you get from the Phantom Lantern Ring and like how it works is very dramatically different than anything out of like all of the other lanterns, even the White Lantern in certain aspects. So buckle in and prepare to go through quite the vid with me, boys. So way back in the day, Rami, this old school guardian of the universe who helped stop Volthoom, kind of looked at the lantern rings they made from what Volthoom did and was inspired by that. A lot of the other guardians detested emotions. It was like kind of bannerinoed at the time. And Rami said fuck that shit. So we made the Phantom Lantern Ring in secret, and it's a ring beyond the grasp of any ring that they had that had been developed before that, especially out of like one singular emotion. Because much like a mood ring, whenever you put it on, it cycles through all the emotions that are in DC, and wherever you root yourself in the most is kind of where you stay, as long as you stay emotionally grounded within that singular emotion. And you guys gotta admit, the Phantom Lantern Ring oath to their core: in desperate day and hopeless night, the Phantom Ring is our last light. We yearn for power, strength, and might. I seize the ring, that is my right. I am the Phantom Lantern. It's quite the motto indeed. So it's interesting to see like a different take, I guess, on the Lantern Core Oath, or a singular Lantern Core Oath outside of Larfleeze. So as previously mentioned, anybody who wields the ring can tap into pretty much any emotion. You guys got a really good example of like the mood ring effect when you originally put it on earlier. And the problem though is, whichever one you do wind up eventually tapping into, there may be emotional blinders put onto you whenever you do have that emotion on, and we'll get in a little bit to that down the road. But the ring obviously allows you to roll through a hope, compassion, willpower, greed, rage, you know, the whole works whenever it comes to lantern powers. And even changing between those forms is enough to just absolutely thrash nearby Green Lanterns, such as like Simon Baz or Jessica Cruz, at points in time in this story where they are like viable characters on the Justice League. So much so, like even Superman's complimenting Jessica Cruz for how dangerous her constructs are and how strong her constructs are. But I mean, Phantom Lantern Ring wielders can casually beat up a variety of Green Lanterns, even if they're just like classic ones like Jessica or Simon, or even if we amp it up. I mean, characters who've wielded this can even ragdoll Hal Jordan, which is pretty wild, especially at the end of Rebirth, considering his new full construct form and stuff like that. But even more so than that, you can even output enough damage to just absolutely solo the entire crew of the Guardians. So the actual destructive capacity of the ring is limited by the wielder, but even characters who have never used a lantern ring before, like have zero experience, seem to demonstrate insane feats of just raw AP. Now, this ring is very different than other rings, and I cannot stress that enough, because unlike other rings where you feed on the power of the ring feeds on you. It's a very different. You could look at this ring as a borderline parasite, to say the least. And the reason why I can do that is because this ring does not offer safety features on it whatsoever. I mean, some of the safety features that this thing lacks is, like, it has a direct tie to the emotional spectrum itself and uses you as the battery, since there is no Phantom Lantern battery. So it can actually destroy you by utilizing you as a direct conduit to that emotional spectrum. So yeah, it's really crazy using its user as a battery. It has a corruptive influence over those who wield it for even just a few seconds, like Simon Baz. It makes you want to wear the ring, like super Lord of the Rings-esque. The ring can be made to be entirely invisible to hide its presence, and it alters your hue to match your current emotional setting, And that works as a defense to your advantage as well as an offense to your advantage as well. As we see him literally afraid of taking damage, he alters colors, and that fear actually amps his defenses and keeps him from getting hurt. Now, obviously, as I've been saying so far, this stuff kind of like puts emotional blinders on you and makes it way more extreme. It just keeps drawing energy and keeps drawing energy on you until those emotions just start boiling up on you and you can't stop like having emotional freakouts. So much so, you start boiling with multiple emotions at the same time and it begins altering your being as it happens. And like he's literally just like the Phantom Lantern. Frank Lemensky in this moment is just absolutely losing his mind because of how emotionally volatile he's becoming wearing this ring. And this gets so extreme, it drives him quite literally emotionally insane by the end of the series. So much so, he's almost begging for help, considering the situation he's in, which actually winds up leading into something that wound up being a defeat for him down the road. That being, he alters to compassion or hope, and both of those are compassion specifically, and compassion literally led him to taking off the ring and ironically saving his life, because like I said, this ring drives you emotionally insane to the point where you're not even you can't do anything around yourself. So obviously this ring is really crazy powerful shit, and there's some powerful people kind of looking at this this ring, and they're gonna want it. So we had Dominators chasing after this ring, and Frank Lemensky, a random human on Earth, was capable of just shredding apart 2 experienced lanterns at this point in time. Let's talk about some of the bigger wielders, some of the more notorious wielders. So Frank Lemensky, oh, he ain't done. He gonna be back at some point in time. He wants that ring again. But the most notable user in direct combat that we saw wield it was actually Cyborg Superman, who went on quite the tear, dude. He was like beating the hell out of absolutely everybody whenever he had that on. It took pretty much the remnants of the entire GLC to put him down, including he's a Daxamite with a Green Lantern ring, Sodom Yacht. Yeah, including Sodom Yacht rolling up to being able to fight him. And in case you don't know, Sodom Yacht is essentially a Daxamite who might as well be a Kryptonian. But either way you look at it, the Phantom Lantern ring has some amazing stuff going for it. And it's a really interesting concept inside DC that I really wish they would touch up on more. And so hopefully we see Frank Lemensky down the way, especially with how salty he was about losing that ring. And tell me what you guys think about the ring down low. If you could develop a ring, what ring would you develop? And if you could develop a core, what core would you develop? I'm really interested to hear you guys' comments down below. But be sure to check out the Coffee Shop Content Creators. And the next video, man, I tell you what, if you guys liked the idea of the Phantom Lantern, let me know if you want a video on Frank Lemensky, the primary wielder of the Phantom Lantern ring. I think he offers, he's just a really interesting character. And that being said, guys, it was an awesome time, and I'll catch you next time. Later, Lanterns.